and a big hello for my beloved student. And today what we are going to read it, that is, the name of the chapter is Fetching the Doctor, and this chapter is in your 7th English book, and this chapter is in your summative assessment 2nd. Okay. Some vocabulary we are going to do it. Before we step forward to the book, I would like to explain you some meaning, important words. Okay. Lay, L-A-Y, lay. Lay chi azano, lay kitanang lie be past tense no. Lie meaning atang gelte dukna lie zara no pa. Te be past tense. Lay is a past of lie. Whip, W-H-I-P, whip. Whip is a talchak zachimana. Zagana staguna gap zaning ata kolches pa talchak hala. Whip. Race mane durches. To make a race, competition tang chala. Ban mane ngata campaigna yang nang chenmoji na ngata kana sawa burat ngata hala. Pugrak zana diktanok ban. Okay, and brave zana himmat chani music. Kaba kite bold ang zana diktanok, strong ang zana diktanok, courage zana diktanok hagwale. Scatter mane yokches. जैसे nga ta ming is dingmo chatna chik pe pa thalba khute khel dunga yok sta na scatters on ta yok ches hala prairie mane tene izuk jaga ji ka ba khite thang chos pura greenery yot kan magar tena changma mane met kan without a tree, a flat land, grassland halale pura greenery yot na ease mane without any difficulty, you can say easily lama upstairs mane khato gazano tene yoga chizong downstairs, stair mane chizong shaska halal inna chik pekane word sum ngata hagwara upstairs, downstairs, stairs, stair mane shaska. Okay, now student, take out your this book of 7th English, take it out, page number 36 and chapter number 6. The name of the chapter is Fetching the Doctor. Fetching the Doctor mane fetch mane chi nozana, fetch mane to go and bring halale tewon sha song te chi kyongches ba jaise ngatang sangwa dinner zat na tene ngata chu gosat na, you can ask your friends or you can ask your amale fetch me a glass of water zena te warpo demo chano, fetch me, go and bring a glass of water amale zena demo sontano, go and bring bo fetch taina chapter ri tontak pochi song zena song te doctor bo te kyongches bo hala teo kite chapter riming bo. Okay, now I'll start the reading. One night, as I lay in deep sleep upstairs, I heard my mother call, and a sharp note of alarm in her voice roused me. One night, the poet is sleeping upstairs, and he listened. His mother was calling. His mother was calling very loud, voice. Hamlin, she called, get up at once. You must go for the doctor. Your father is very sick. Hurry, Hamlin, now please get up. Mom said, get up, wake up. You must go for the doctor. You have to go to the doctor at once. Your father is very sick. Your father is in very pain. I hear you. I'm coming. I called as I flew into my clothes, still partly asleep. Mommy, mother, I can hear you. I'm coming. Mother met me with a white, frightened face. Frightened face meaning, your father is in terrible pain. Your father is paining. Your father is very much ill. Paining. Go for the doctor at once. At once. Go and call the doctor. I could hear my father cry out as I lighted the lantern and put on my coat. It was 1 o'clock in the morning and the wind was cold, and I carefully made my way through mud and ran to the barn. Okay. Now he can hear, you can listen the father's cry. His father is in great pain. He's making a noise like, then he listened his father's voice, like crying. Then he lighted the lantern. Lantern money lamp so jana te lalten bokhite on just kya put on my coat jana ten khura he just put on his coat, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning jana midnight so she chanskil so she in kya, and the wind was cold, and I carefully made my way through mud and ran to the burns. It was raining outside, and there was a mud, and there was a wind also at that night. So he ran to the barns. Kukra te tara chosba, karwa te phugras gunyot ban jaga yo terako bang tang se sonkya. The thought of the long dark mile to town made my hands shake. But as the son of the soldier, I could not fail my duty. Hagwa, that night was the very, it was a dark night. But as a son of his soldier, so that means his father was a soldier. Okay, so he was thinking that I could not fail in my duties, and he was thinking that my duty is I'm going to do my duty first. That the mind bina making my way past the older, stronger horse, I hung up the lantern and saddled Kitty. A young mare, always ready for action, always dependable. So they are having one horse, horse, mare, M-A-R-E, mare is the female horse. So they have one female horse. The name of that horse was the Kitty. So he saddled, gapcha josbo pura thik joske khala istabe ka gapcha josbo saddle bo thik kiya, lantern ko fixed kiya, and then ready for the action. Now they start running. Okay, Kit and I flew off with a rush that scattered mud throughout the yard. It was very dark, but I trusted the sharp sense of the horse to find the road. My heart rose. I was a soldier riding through the night to save a city, a messenger on whose courages thousands of lives depend. So that night, when he saddled his Kitty, okay, he saddled the Kitty, and then he rushed towards their destination. And then it was very dark, and he thought that it will become easy to find the road. Okay. And he also thought that he's a messenger on whose thousands of lives depend. Soldiers jiga life bina mi mangpo 1,000 life te mi beka depending of something kwe mind na ozugyong skills. Get out of this, I cried to Kit, and she jumped away like a wolf. She knew her rider, for together we had followed the cattle many days on the prairie, and in races with a wild horse. I had tested her speed, breathing loudly in her strength. She seems to say, my heart is brave, my legs are strong, call on me. Then Kitty, she start, to say Kitty, and she jumped like a wolf. She jumped like a wolf on the Kitty, and she knows her riders, and that Kitty knows her rider because they used to, go for the race on a very prairie that land. Okay, and he used to say that my heart is very strong and my legs are very strong, so I have to go, I have to run. Out of the darkness, John Martin's dog Carlo barked. Half a mile, old March dog greeted us. 2 miles out of the prairie, the ground was firmer, but there was a great pool of water. Once Kit fell to her knees, but I shouted, "Go on, Kit," and on she went. Then it sane mundik pena kite kon ta son chana po chapichi thariya chana po then khiji khonla follow chuske khala khiji te dikhauske, and then after 1-2 miles then it prairie ground chirmuji ka lekyak tega khonla they feel easy. And there was a pool of water. Tategane isuk kya yure chu contact zoshi. Then akite Kit was fell on his knees. Then he shouted, "Go on, Kit!" And zate Kit lata hushar chus Kit this pasang. Then Kit pakhitinang, and then she start running again. The 4th mile was mud, but the 5th brought us to the farm village road, and the mare was glad as I. Then 4th mile, because 4th mile, so she got Lebanon. They reached the farm village. Tamane village comes out as a road in Galipska, and the mare was glad. The female horse po kaukite kitin pin. She looks very happy. Okay, glad means happy. As eyes, even I was also feeling very happy. Okay, her breath was coming painfully now. but the memory of my mother's worried face and the sound of father's cry hardened my heart, and I used the whip to keep her to her highest speeds. And then they are thinking, their mother's that frightened face and the crying of his father. So he used to whip to the kitty, and then they start running at a very highest speed. At last, a beam of light the village. Soon I was the doctor's door, pulling sharply on the doctor's bell. "What is it, my boy?" asked a big, fair-haired man in his nightgown. He looked out at me, standing in the black night of rain. "Your father is in great pain, is he?" Then, when they reached that village, they saw a beam of light, okay? And there was a door, doctor's door. They just put a doctor's bell, and then one of the men, who was fair, hair man, okay, hairy man in his nightgown. He looked, at them, and then he said to him that your father is in great pain. Duga zite hala kya abalamma zumushante duga is he duga zite tiskia. "Yes sir, I could hear him cry out, please hurry." "Yes sir, na dukpin I could hear him cry out zina maninga baling mujhse siska dinanga chor please hurry zina please jaldi kijiye zite no hala." He thought a moment, he thought for a little bit. He is a soldier. Who? Doctor bo. Hey, is it a doctor bo kitna soldiers, he would not complain of a little thing. "I will come." Sapichi fiang kone sambatan maduga, at the gaspaji ki "I will come." Ngayon zete. As he was a soldier, soldiers are very brave. Okay? Soldiers, they don't take much time in thinking, in making decisions. So he said that he was a soldier. So he said, "I will come." With a breath of relief, I turned to my horse, climbed into the saddle, and rode home to a very slow speed. I turned often until I could see the light of the doctor's carriage following me on the road. That man, who was on the kitty, and then he started running, and the doctor was following at his own carriage. Okay, the doctor was sitting firmly in his light, swaying carriage, iron-handed, masterful, guiding his first powerful horse with ease. These horses were famous for their strength and wild speed. So they never walked and had no fear of bad weather. As he flashed past, the doctor called out with a quiet cheer, "Take your time, boy, take your time." So as the boy was, boy sat on the kitty, and they are running very, at normal speed, and he was watching frequently the doctor is following or not. As the doctor was on the iron-handed, masterful, guiding his fast, and then that horse in which the doctor was, riding that was very powerful horse, okay, and. So they are having no fear, of bad weather, all of them. And then when they reach, the doctor called out with a quiet cheer. The doctor called him and said in a very happy mood, "Take your time, boy. Take your time." Means don't worry. Okay, and take your time means apna time le lo. Koi baat nahi zia so doctor be. And the next page, page number 38, last paragraph of the story. My worry left with him. I had done all I could. I had called the doctor. I was content knowing that sweet relief would come to my mother and the doctor would bring healing to father. My worry left with him. When the doctor said, "Don't worry, just okay, your father will be okay," the doctor is and then he left all his sadness, all his worries towards the doctor, and then he was thinking that whatever I can do it, I have done it. I had called the doctor. मैंने डॉक्टर को बुलाया. I was content. I was content का meaning बनता है इधर satisfied. Okay, he was very satisfied as he called the doctor on that stormy night. So he was very much satisfied, by fetching the doctor at that time, knowing that sweet relief would come to my mother's. Sweet relief come to my mother, and the doctor would bring healing to father. फिर doctor भी father अबाले को ठीक करेंगे जैसे heals ना ठीक ठाक to father, तो ऐसा हो जाएंगे जैसे ना. So this was the story of fetching the doctor If you find any word that you may not understand from the story, please feel free to call me. You can also write to me on my number, which is on your screen. Thank you, Julie.